Discipline is what distinguishes an ordinary person from an extraordinary one. Having the ability to go beyond, to maintain discipline, is challenging. This requires practice, and in many cases, even deception of our own brain. As humans, we have a primitive instinct that leads us to seek for dopamine, a substance produced in the brain that gives us a sense of pleasure. This mechanism makes sense since the brain rewards us with pleasure when we perform actions that are beneficial to our survival, such as eating when we are hungry, drinking when we are thirsty, and breeding to ensure the continuity of the species. Dopamine was fundamental to the progress of humanity, but it also brings a challenge. It is addictive. We human beings are not perfect machines. We have our limitations. For example, we grow old and eventually die. In the case of dopamine, it is responsible for many addictions. Addiction to social networks, video games, chemicals. We've found ways to make our brain produce dopamine quickly and easily, resulting in instant gratification. Today, we live in a world full of stimuli that awaken this immediate gratification, and this can be a problem. Most of the things that give us instant pleasure do not bring real benefits to us. They only offer momentary satisfaction. Our brain does not produce more dopamine when we perform actions that really contribute to our development as individuals. Now, our brain produces dopamine for the sole purpose of seeking pleasure. Once this need is satisfied, we lose the incentive to perform actions that really benefit us, especially when they require effort. This is one of the biggest problems in today's society. People have forgotten the sense of satisfaction comes from achieving something through effort. Why should I try if I can feel good without it? Throughout life, you have probably felt the frustration of wanting to do something, such as exercise or starting a new project. At first, when the motivation is high, everything seems to flow. But as soon as the motivation disappears, you find yourself unable to continue. This is what we call lack of discipline. You have the desire to have a fit physique and decide to enroll in the gym, committing yourself to go every day. In the first week, you do not miss a single day, driven by initial motivation. But in the second week, there comes that day when you feel tired and think, I'm going tomorrow, today I'll rest. And the next day the same thing happens, and so on. So how can we solve this problem in a society that values instant gratification so much? How can we become disciplined to achieve our goals, even on days when motivation seems distant? We can learn a lot from the life and philosophy of Miyamoto Musashi, even if he is not a Stoic philosopher. His life offers valuable lessons that we can apply to become more disciplined. But before we continue, if you are enjoying the video, I ask you to leave your like and subscribe to the channel. It helps me spread this philosophy to even more people. Miyamoto Musashi was a samurai who was born in Japan in 1584. From an early age, he had a clear goal to become the best swordsman in all of Japan. For this, he trained hard and traveled throughout the country, facing the best duelists of the time. He is said to have fought in over 60 duels and never been defeated. In many of these fights, he faced multiple enemies at the same time, which led him to develop the ability to fight with a sword in each hand. In addition to being a swordsman, Musashi was also a philosopher and the author of several books, including the Book of Five Rings, where he recorded his philosophy and the path of discipline that he followed to become Japan's greatest warrior. His philosophy of life can be summarized in 4 main points. Number 1, reject the wish. Miyamoto Musashi avoided doing things just for the immediate pleasure they provided. He believed that giving in to these desires would make him weak and undisciplined. By rejecting instant gratification, he conditioned his brain to generate dopamine only through effort and conquest. For example, when winning a duel or completing a training session, he trained his brain to believe that effort was the only source of satisfaction. That way, if he wanted to feel good, he knew he had to work hard. Musashi understood that greatness has a price, and he was willing to pay it, however hard it was. Do you think he would have become the best swordsman if he woke up late or skipped a training session because he was not in the mood? As he said himself, time is well spent when you do something with a valuable purpose, and there is nothing like that feeling. Number 2, focus on one thing at a time. Miyamoto Musashi believed that focusing and mastering a single art could open up countless opportunities. He chose to master the art of the sword, dedicating himself tirelessly and constantly exceeding his own limits. His skill opened several doors throughout his life. The message here is clear. Focus on mastering a specific skill rather than trying to do everything at once. Often, the motivation to accomplish several things simultaneously ends up in nothing completed. It's easier to be disciplined when we focus on a single task, and once this task becomes part of our daily routine, we can then move on to the next one. This way, we create a solid habit and stop depending on the motivation to do what needs to be done. Take it easy, step by step, and focus on one task at a time. Number 3. Never leave your path. One of the main reasons people don't develop discipline is lack of patience. When we start something new, we want quick results, especially in a world where instant gratification is so common. But Musashi always remembered never to leave his path. Like any human being in search of a goal, he also had moments of doubt. If we have a clear goal, it is essential to keep focus and patience. Key is to be sure of what we are doing, stop to reflect on whether we are really committed to our goal, and if we are willing to make the necessary sacrifices to achieve it. With a clear idea and the combination of patience and focus on what needs to be done, sooner or later, you will achieve what you set out to do. This is the formula for developing discipline. Number 4. Live with honor. Miyamoto Musashi followed the principles of Bushido, the warrior's way. Bushido is a set of rules for samurai conduct, centered on 7 virtues: honor, respect, integrity, honesty, courage, compassion, and loyalty. Among these virtues, honor is considered the most important within Bushido. Honor is, first of all, self-respect. When you respect yourself, act with honesty, respect, integrity, courage, compassion, and loyalty. Living with honor also means not cheating or seeking shortcuts in life, nor choosing the easy way. If you respect yourself, you don't act like someone who needs instant gratification or is unable to make an effort. When you respect yourself, you know your own potential and do not give up working day after day towards a goal. By adopting an honorable posture, you naturally become more disciplined. What do you think about the philosophy of Miyamoto Musashi? Leave your opinion in the comments. I'm curious to know. It is worth remembering that no one is perfect, and we will fail many times in our journey to become disciplined. We need to be realistic and accept that things don't always go as planned, and that we will make mistakes along the way. The most important thing is that when we go off course, we return to it no matter how many times it happens, and do it quickly. Over time, these deviations will become less frequent. Train your discipline the same way Musashi trained with his swords. Be steady and commit. If you feel like you haven't been working on your discipline, try doing something challenging or uncomfortable for yourself at least once a day. Hopefully this video will help you achieve your goals.